Hi everybody, so in this video I'm going to be walking you through how to build your very first Google search ads campaign. Now this is the most popular Google ads campaign type that is usually run on this platform, and this is basically the text ads that you see whenever you make a search in Google. So let's just say, for example, you're searching for meal prep companies in New York, right? You might notice the very first few results have the word sponsored above them. These are search ads, and all these are text ads where people have paid to show at the top of Google so they can get people's attention and direct traffic to their website. Now, before we begin, there are a few things that you will need to have in place. The first thing is actually having a Google Ads account. Now, I'm sure most of you watching this already have a Google Ads account set up, but if you don't, all you need to do is head over to ads.google.com, click on Start Now, and follow the process. Okay, so once you're in your Google Ads account, I want you to click on the blue plus button on the left-hand side here. What that's going to do is create a drop-down menu which has two options: New Campaign and Load Campaign Settings. All you need to do is click on New Campaign, and from here it's going to load a new screen to begin your campaign build. Now, the first thing you need to do is choose your campaign objective, and Google gives you a variety of campaign objectives to choose from. Each one is going to vary slightly in how you build out your actual campaign. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to click on sales. The reason being is because we work with mostly e-commerce businesses, so sales would be the natural campaign objective for us. Now, if you are, let's say, an insurance company and you primarily deal with leads, or you're, let's say, a law firm or a mortgage broker and you're running Google Ads to attract qualified leads, you would most likely want to hit the leads marketing objective or campaign objective. And all this does, it's giving Google some information in terms of what goal you are trying to achieve from this given campaign. And it's just going to help it optimize just a little bit better. Now, if you're unsure which campaign objective you should choose, you can totally click on create a campaign without a goals guidance. That's absolutely fine. And the reason is because, again, this doesn't play a major part in your campaign build, but you can always switch it later to an appropriate campaign objective once you understand a bit more about what you're trying to achieve. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to hit sales, and then after this, we move on to the conversion goals section. Now, you should have your conversion tracking set up. For me, I'm actually using a dummy account. This is the Google Ads account we use to train our staff. So we don't have conversion tracking set up in here. But what I want you to do in this is remove any irrelevant conversion goals in this section. So let's just say you're an e-commerce brand. I want you to only have purchase as your only conversion goal. That should be the only thing you're optimizing for, in this case anyway. So you can go ahead and remove page views, add to carts, initiate checkouts, any other irrelevant conversion goals that you have in this section. And you should just be left with purchases. The way you do that is by clicking on the three dots here, and then it will say remove. So in this case, it says remove book appointments, but in your case, it should say remove add to cart, initiate checkout, page views, etc. And the only thing that you should be left with is purchases. Okay, so after this, all you need to do is click continue in the right-hand corner here in the blue box, and it will open up a new section, which allows us to select the campaign type we want to run. Now, this video is obviously going to focus on search campaigns, which is the very first option here, so you can go ahead and click that now. Just for reference, Google allows you to pick a variety of campaign types in this particular section. And these are search, performance max, display, shopping, video, and demand gen. I will be coming out with a video specifically on PMax campaigns. But again, for the purpose of this video, we are going to hit search. So once you click on that, Google will then create a further drop-down section. And this will basically allow you to select the way in which you would like Google to reach your goal. So this could be through website visits, phone calls, or shop visits. Now, again, if you're running a Google Ads campaign for an e-commerce brand, you probably want people to visit your website and make orders from there. So the likelihood is you're going to pick website visits as your store. Now, what you do from here, once you've selected website visits, is simply copy and paste your business's website into the drop down section here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and copy and paste one of our clients' websites as an example. I'm going to blur that out for their confidentiality. And then all you need to do is hit continue. Great. Now this opens up the next section, which is the campaign name. So the way you name your campaigns is super important, and this is often overlooked by a lot of people. You want to make sure you name your campaigns as clearly as possible, because once your Google Ads account is more mature, you have a bunch of different campaign types running in different countries with different goals. You want to make sure that it's easy to identify those campaigns if you want to make any changes to them, or if you want to pause them or do anything to them really. So I'm going to name this campaign Search Non-Brand All Products USA. USA. Now, just by looking at this campaign, we can quickly identify what it is and what it's doing. So it's a search campaign. It has non-branded keywords in it. It's targeting all products and it's running in the USA. And if you really want to, you can add in the bid strategy. So for example, we can add in max converge value, which is the bid strategy we're going to give this, right? So again, just going back to this, just by glancing at this campaign, we know exactly what it is and what it's doing. It's a search campaign targeting non-branded keywords for all products in the USA, and it's using a maximize conversion value bid strategy. Great. So now all we need to do is hit continue. And again, if you have some old campaigns in the past, Google Ads will throw up this screen here, which says, do you want to resume that original campaign build? I would advise don't do that and just click on start new. That way you can build out a fresh campaign. Now, the first thing Google Ads is going to ask you to do is set your bid strategy. Now, I've made a fully detailed video on this, which I'll link in the description, on how to adjust and run bid strategies for e-commerce brands. But I would suggest, to keep things short, is to use conversion values as your starting bid strategy. This is because Google is going to optimize for actually generating you revenue rather than just individual conversions. If you're more of a leads-based company, so you're more of an insurance-based or a law firm or a mortgage broker, feel free to use something like conversions, assuming you don't have value attributed to your conversions in Google Ads. That will probably be a more appropriate bid strategy. But for this, I'm going to select conversion value. You don't need to worry about setting a target ROAS just yet. That's something I would suggest you do later, once you understand how effectively that campaign is able to generate a ROAS for you. Great. Now the next section here, which is the customer acquisition section, you can see it's a drop-down menu. Again, I would ignore this for now. This is more of an advanced setting. What this essentially allows you to do is tell Google or optimize your Google Ads campaign to only bid for new customers, right? Or to prioritize bidding on new customers. This definitely is something you can do later on, but what it requires you to do is upload a customer list to Google Ads, which again, if you're just starting off in Google Ads, this is going to be more of an advanced section or more of an advanced criteria for you. So you can totally give this a miss and you can always add it in later once you actually have that email list or once you are a bit more comfortable on the platform. Great. So all we're going to do here is hit next. And this is going to take us into the campaigns settings section. Okay, so this section is really, really important. A lot of people ignore this and they just go with Google Ads default settings, and ultimately it results in them wasting a lot of money. Now, Google Ads default settings are honestly just mainly done so they can spend more of your money. They can spend more of your ad budget. So you want to be very aware of these and control these where possible. So the first thing we want to do is untick the search network and untick the display network. And this is obviously under the network section. Now, the reason you want to do this is because these are low quality placements that Google Ads can show your ads on. The search network are just partner websites that Google have, which are outside of Google Ads itself. The display network are just ways of showing your ads on places like YouTube, which again, if you're running a text ad, it doesn't make sense to show it on a video-based platform. So unticking these is going to save you a lot of money and basically just keep your ads on the Google search platform rather than on third-party platforms which are not relevant to you. Cool. Now scrolling down onto locations, this is where we plug in our target locations for our campaign. Now, Google gives you a few options here: all countries and territories, United Kingdom, which is where I'm based in the UK, and enter another location. Now, for most of you, you're going to probably select enter another location, and I'm going to type in the United States because that's where most of our clients are running ads. Now you'll see here, when you type in your country, your target location, Google will pull up a list of countries or locations that meet that criteria, or that match your search, and it gives you an estimated reach. So this is really cool if you just want to understand the size of the target audience in the country that you're running your campaign in. Now, all you need to do is just slide across here where it says include and hit that. Great. Now, the next thing I need you to do is hit location options. This is something a lot of people ignore, and this does result in their campaigns underperforming and losing a lot of money. Now, Google's default option is to run your ads in people present or interested in your target location, right? Now, what that means is it's going to target people, in this case, in the US, but also it's going to target people interested in the USA, which, as you could imagine, especially if you're an e-commerce brand, means you're probably going to be showing ads to people in countries, one, you don't want to show to, and two, you couldn't even deliver to, even if they did place an order. So it's really important to hit this drop-down menu here, and I want you to click on presence, people in or regularly in your included locations, because what that's going to do is make sure Google only shows your ad to people who are present in your target location. So in this case, the USA. Great. Now, moving on to the next section of the campaign build is languages. Now, again, pretty straightforward, but I want you to select the language or the languages that your target audience would be speaking or Googling in, right? So we're targeting the US, obviously, and I am going to just type in English. I just crossed it off just so I can show you putting it in again. Pretty straightforward. And again, feel free to add in multiple languages if you feel like that makes more sense. But for this campaign, I'm only going to plug in English. Okie dokie. Now, the next section, which is this drop down here, which is audience segments, feel free to totally ignore this. Again, this is more of an advanced setting, and this is something that will come later on in your campaign build. What this allows you to do is see if there are any audiences that fall within your keyword targeting that are bidding or rather clicking on your ads, right? So for example, if you're a e-commerce brand that sells women's clothing, you might see that people who are also interested in going on holidays or maybe going out to, like, let's say certain restaurants, have a higher click-through rate or higher conversion rate. You can actually monitor that using this audience segment section. But for now, it's totally fine to leave it. It's not going to be a make or break part for you to just completely ignore this. Okay, now the next section is going to be the broad match keyword section. And again, this is a default setting by Google. You can see it leaves it on. We want to click off. The reason being is because I do not recommend running broad match campaigns for a new Google Ads account, or if you're spending under $10,000 a month in ad spend. The reason being is because broad match is way too volatile a match type, and it's probably going to result in your ad showing for really, really irrelevant searches, which are still going to generate clicks, but it's ultimately not going to result in any sales, any purchases. So as a result, it's a very easy way to lose a lot of money very, very fast. So make sure under the broad match keyword section, you hit off. Great. Now again, moving on to automatically created assets, make sure you hit off on that. And again, this is just a way for Google to ultimately just spend more of your money unnecessarily. You're giving it license to basically send campaigns to all types of landing pages on your website to create headlines, to create descriptions, which ultimately you don't need to do at this point anyway. So just make sure you hit off and you'll be absolutely fine. Okie dokie, so after this, you can actually apply an ad schedule if you really want to. Now, for most of you, this probably won't apply, but I know there will be some people watching this who only want to run their ads during certain hours of the day. What this section allows you to do, essentially, is plug in the hours you want your campaign to run and your ads to show. So let's just say you only wanted your ads to run between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. in your given time zone. All you need to do is plug it in here. So we can see here our ads are only going to run between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. And just like that, Google will only show your ads between these given hours. And again, this is an optimization that can totally come later on once you understand how people behave and respond to your Google ad campaigns. Okay, so the last part of this segment is the more settings. Most of these settings are not really going to apply to you. You may want to play around with the brand inclusions and the brand exclusions. I'm actually going to have a separate video on this, breaking this down in more detail. But what this effectively allows you to do is exclude your ads from showing for searches related to any brands, or include your ads in searches related to some brands. And this only works with broad match as well, so that's just worth bearing in mind. So after this, you're going to hit next in the blue button here in the right hand corner. This is going to take us to the keyword section, right? In this section here, this is actually quite a new feature that Google Ads have. It's called keyword and asset generation. Now, I'm not a fan of this just yet, right? It is really cool because Google are incorporating AI into the setup process, which is always nice to see. It makes everyone's life a lot easier. However, I found the keywords and the ad copy it generates aren't very good at this point in time. So I would actually recommend you just skip this stage completely. So you can hit skip here. And what this is going to do is take us to the keywords and ads section. Just going to cross off this bit here. Cool. Now, Google has a few really cool inbuilt tools that are going to help us find keywords for our campaign, for our search ads campaign. Now, the first one is actually plugging in your website's URL. So if we plug in our website's URL here, Google will actually crawl the website itself to find the relevant keywords to bid on. The other section is this here, where you can type in keywords that you already know you want to target, and Google will then output more variations of that keyword for you to target and bid on, just so you have a more well-rounded approach to your keyword targeting. So in this case, for this particular client, I'm going to type in date night dresses, because that is what we're going to focus on for this particular campaign. So date night dresses. And as you can see, Google's already given us some suggestions, right? But I'm actually going to cross these off. And I'm going to click on this here where it says update keyword suggestions, or rather get keyword suggestions, now it's saying. And just like that, Google's taken our website, our keyword ideas, and it's outputted a bunch of really, really cool keywords for us, right? Which we can now use and bid on. Okay, so we can see Google's given us a really good range of keywords to bid on. So all we need to do now is sift through these keywords and identify what keywords we want to bid on, and then delete the ones we don't want to bid on. So the whole point of this campaign is to bid on date night dresses. So I'm going to obviously keep date night dresses. Date night outfits is pretty cool. Date dress seems a little bit too vague for me. Dinner date outfit, dresses for dinner date, night outfits. Again, that seems a bit too vague for me. Fancy dinner date outfit, evening dinner outfits. Cool. And I'm actually going to add in one more. So again, guys, you can totally add in keywords here. So by date night outfit. Cool. Now, from here, we actually want to apply our match type parameters. Now, if you leave your keywords just like this, this is actually going to default your keywords to broad match targeting, which, as we talked about earlier on in this video, is super loose targeting, which is going to show your ads for really irrelevant searches in the beginning. So what we're going to do is apply phrase match and exact match annotations to these keywords, so we're targeting our keywords correctly. So the way we do this for phrase match is we're just going to add these quotation marks at the bottom here. Not at the bottom, sorry, on the beginning and end of each keyword. And this is going to make them phrase match. And then what we're going to do is copy and paste this entire thing here and just go to the next line. And we're going to make these exact match as well. So we're going to have phrase match and exact match in this particular ad group. So all I need to do is go down to date night dresses, which is here. And from here, I'm going to add in the relevant annotation to make these keywords exact match. And again, guys, all you can do is test these. Totally feel free to test these. Exact match and phrase match, and even broad match once your account's a bit more mature, right? To figure out what type of match type is working best for your ad account. So we can see here that we've added in all of the relevant keywords we want to target. We've applied phrase match and exact match targeting to them. So now we're pretty much good to go for this particular ad group. Okay, so what we want to do now is actually go back to the top and we want to name our ad group. Now, the way you do this is just simply clicking on the pencil here. This is going to follow the exact same logic we followed for the campaign naming conventions. So we want to make it as clear as possible so we understand what campaign type it is, what keywords it's holding, and the match types. So in this case, we know it's a search campaign. And the type of keywords it's holding are date night dresses, right? Because these are the keywords in the ad group itself. And then we know it's holding phrase match and exact match. So again, by looking at this, we can quickly identify it's a search campaign targeting date night dresses, and it's targeting phrase match and exact match keywords. So all we need to do is hit enter. And just like that, we've named our ad group. Now you can have multiple ad groups within a campaign, and I would recommend you do that. The main thing you want to be aware of is how many keywords you hold in each specific ad group. Now, you don't want to go above 20 keywords in an ad group. The reason being is that when you have 20 keywords plus, what happens is your keywords start to become more and more irrelevant to the audience you're targeting. And then ultimately that makes sure that doesn't reflect in your ad or the landing page that you're sending that traffic to. So again, try keep your ad groups to 20 keywords or under. Make them as relevant as possible, right, to your ad copy and the landing page you're sending that traffic to. Okay, so once you're happy with the keywords that you're going to be targeting, I want you to scroll down to the next section, which is the ads section of the campaign build. Now, the first thing you need to do is add in your final URL. And this is the landing page that you're sending your traffic to from your ad. Now, this doesn't always need to be the homepage. What I would like you to do is send your traffic to the most relevant landing page based upon the keyword you're targeting. So for this particular client, we're not going to send the traffic to just a generic homepage. We're actually going to send it to a landing page they have, which is specifically for date night dresses. Now, you can see how this makes sense, because if we have keywords targeting people searching for date night dresses, and we have an ad talking about date night dresses, and then we send those same people to a landing page where they can buy date night dresses, that's far more relevant than just sending them to a generic homepage where they then have to find the specific product that they were originally looking for. And then again, that would allow them to get distracted or just bounce off the website entirely. So again, make sure that your final URL is relevant to the keywords and the ads that you've created. Cool. Now the next part is the display path. And again, the display path is just some additional text that goes after your URL. So I would recommend just adding in the core keywords that you're targeting. So I'm going to actually call this date night. Let's go with capital N, date night dresses. And all this does is add a little bit of copy on the URL string of your ad. It just makes it look a little bit more relevant. It's not super important of the ad itself. Now, moving into the main part of your ad copy build. This is going to be your headlines, and this is going to be your descriptions, right? Now, what Google allows you to do is add in 15 headlines and 4 descriptions. And it's super important that you take advantage of all 15 headlines and 4 descriptions. The reason being is because Google really optimizes well for variety. So for example, if you have a headline talking about how affordable your products are or how well made they are, and somebody is searching for, let's just say, affordable dresses, affordable date night dresses, Google can specifically take that headline and run it to that person, versus someone who's looking for more, let's just say, organically made dresses, right? Google can then take that headline, which talks about organically made dresses, and run that to another person. So again, it can really tailor your ads based upon the person searching. So what I want you to do is add in all 15 headlines or 4 descriptions, max them out. You can click the plus button here, and it will allow you to basically take advantage of all of the headlines and descriptions available, as you can see here. And there's a few rules as well I want you to follow. So you definitely want to include headlines that focus on the benefits and features of your product or service, right? So for example, if there's something unique about you, or if it solves a specific problem, you want to include this in the copy. The reason being is because if somebody's already searching for what you have to sell, they're already in the market, most likely. All you need to do is just add that extra layer of incentive, which will convince that person to click on your website and buy from you. The next thing you want to do is always make sure you're including call to actions. Now, CTAs are just extra levels of incentive to get someone to buy from you. Now, this could literally be a headline that says, buy now. But if you have a sale on, you could, for example, say, don't miss out on 20% off, or summer sale now on, or winter sale now on. Anything like that, just to generate an extra level of incentive that will encourage somebody and incentivize somebody to buy from you as opposed to another business. And it's super important to include CTAs. I've worked with so many clients, and when I've gone into their Google Ads account, they had no call to actions whatsoever in their copy. It was super boring, super generic. And this is a really easy way to make your ads stand out. Okay, so once you've added in all 15 headlines and all 4 descriptions, I want you to scroll down and add in your business name and add in your business logo here. And again, these are just finishing touches now that are going to make your ads stand out a bit more, because so many people ignore this step. But it really pays off because, again, it makes your business look more official, and it's going to help it stand out against all the other competitors who are bidding on the same keywords as you. Great. Now, the finishing touch is honestly just to add in some ad assets. So these could be Sitelink extensions. These could be call outs, any promo extensions that you've got going on. Feel free to add those in. I'll make a separate video on these at some point. But again, this is just more cream on top, right? At this point. You've actually got the ad itself out the way and done, and now you're pretty much ready to go live. So all you need to do is scroll down right to the very bottom and click on next in the right hand corner here. This will take you to the final step, which is the budget allocation. Now, Google will provide you with some recommended budgets based upon the keywords that you are targeting. And this is going to be based upon CPCs, industry, competitiveness, etc. Right? Now, I rarely ever go with Google's selected budgets because they typically want you to spend a lot more than you need. I usually always click on set custom budget right here. This opens up a drop down. And then what I like to do is I like to have my starting budget around 5 to 6 times my average cost per click. So let's just say our cost per click is $5 for a click. We are going to set our daily budget around $25 to $30. So I'm going to plug this in as $30. You can see mine is in British pounds, but that's absolutely fine. Your Google Ads account should be in the currency that you've set it to when you created it. Now, all you need to do from here is scroll to the very bottom and click on next in the blue box. And Google is going to review every single step that we just went through to make sure it is correct. So let's do that. And you can see here, Google is checking for any errors right here. And everything looks fine. And what this does, it opens up a top line overview of the campaign. So we can see every single section that we've done. And it allows us to make any last minute changes if we want to, right? But in this case, we don't need to. From here, all you need to do is hit publish campaign as so. And Google is publishing our Google Ads campaign. And just like that, our Google Ads have gone into the review process. Now, this can take anything from 1 hour to be approved all the way up to 2 business days, as Google is saying here. It definitely does depend on the niche you're in. If you're in more of a specialist niche, let's say you're medical or you're like gambling, this definitely can take up to 2 days. But if you're a more normal business, let's just say in this case, you're an e-commerce business selling female clothing, it honestly should be published within 1 to 2 hours. But it's super important once you go through this process to make sure you keep an eye on your Google Ads account to make sure your campaign has been published and Google doesn't come back to you with any errors. Okay, so congratulations, you've just set up your very first Google Ads search campaign. Now, if you have any questions or you feel like I've missed anything, feel free to leave a comment and I'll be more than happy to reply. And if you are an e-commerce owner running Google Ads and would like to take your account to the next level, you can book a free audit with me using the link in the description, where I will personally audit your Google Ads account to show you how you can make more money from this platform. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you on the next video.